ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यम् ईश्वरम्। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिन् इति नामिने। कथाञ्चना स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत्, विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्य नमामितम्। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तान् सञ्जीवयत किल शक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना। अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणात्पगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। Thank you so much for inviting me to this program and giving me an opportunity to glorify Maharaj. I have always wanted to serve you, and I feel this is a great opportunity to serve all of you and share with you. I'm going to keep it little spontaneous. I'm not going to give a systematic, theme-wise presentation on Maharaj, because I feel that appearance day of spiritual mastery is a very happy occasion, an opportunity for us to be spontaneous in our expression of happiness. And also it is an opportunity, or it is a moment of sobriety. It is a moment for us to be very sober and grave. So both, this is a very amazing paradox, Generally in this material world, when you are happy, you're just happy. There is no sobriety. But when it comes to Gurudev, when it comes to spiritual master, there is a lot of joy. And at the same time, we become very sober. Sober because we become acutely aware of our inadequacies. We become very acutely aware of how we are so far away from Krishna. At the same time, it is a happy occasion because, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in his bhajan, that it is a day to celebrate because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has sent his associate to deliver us. Emona durmati samsara bhitare odiyachi nuami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that I have been suffering here in this material world because of my mind. But my dear Lord, you are so merciful. Tavanija jana kon mahajane pataya dile tumi. You have sent your own associate to deliver us. So therefore, it is a very happy occasion and also a very sober occasion. Happy because Krishna has sent his representative. It is a time for rejoicing and celebrating. Sober because it is time we ask these penetrating, deep questions to ourselves, whether I'm sincerely following the parampara's instructions. Am I availing of the mercy that is abundantly available? So given this background, I would like to now speak about Maharaj in a spontaneous way and from my heart, because I personally have very little personal exchanges with Maharaj. as compared to my seniors in the ashram, which is the temple president board, Sanat Kumar Prabhu, Gaurang Prabhu, Govind Prabhu, Shamanand Prabhu, Radha Gopinath Prabhu. Compared to them, I've got very little association. But I have heard a lot of Maharaj from them, and I've seen, and I would like to share my realizations based on that. Like, for example, I'll tell you something very recent, which I, again, heard and observed. I go to this YouTube, if you type Radhanath Swami old bhajans, you will get something which is so addictive that you will not be able to get out of it. Radhanath Swami old bhajans will give you access to what was happening in Maharaj's room in 1988-89. You don't have to access now. Now you can be in the class. After the class, you can go through that. So Maharaj, in that videos, you'll find a lot of videos where Maharaj is addressing a small group of devotees in his room in the Radha Gopinath Mandir community ashram. And he's doing long kirtans and giving ecstatic classes. And in those bhajans, when I'm seeing, I feel I've been transported in a time machine. I've gone back. Although I was not there at that time, but I feel I'm there because Maharaj is so candid and he's so intense in bhakti. Like there is one, recently I was watching on video, Radhanath Swami old bhajans. He's singing for a long time. And then there is this girl then, now her son is older than what she was in the video, Madhurya Leela Mataji. So she was a small girl in a small, frog dress, and she's dancing in the front. And then after the kirtan, Maharaj is patting her on the head and making her do Tadasan, Yoga Asan, and telling her you have to be standing straight. And then Maharaj is joking, and her parents are dancing in the kirtan. Brahmacharis are playing mridanga. When I'm seeing all of this, I can see how much he has given Krishna to this community. And when I think of Maharaj, and I look at that video, I see he is 38 years old in that video. And I see myself, I'm 50 now. And I see, my God, I'm amazed at what he did in our community. I mean, at the age of 50, we are struggling with our mind, senses, and we are struggling hard to remember Krishna and trying to make our lives perfect. And here is a person who, when he was 38 years old, he was abundantly giving Krishna and transforming lives in a dramatic way. I mean, there can be nothing greater magic and miracle than this about Guru Maharaj. This is my humble opinion. And how painstakingly he has built this community, that you can see from those videos when you see Radhanath Swami old bhajans. And not only that, it also, when you see those videos, you also feel a sense of responsibility that, wow, this is my spiritual master. He's such a special personality and I have got connection with him. So what responsibility I have, because what he has given us is unprecedented in our tradition. I mean, it is something very special. At such a young age, somebody is traveling all over the world and then ordered by his superiors, is staying in Chowpatty, giving Krishna so abundantly. And unfortunately for me, I was always a little nervous to serve Maharaj directly. I mean, I would assist the devotees who were serving him personally, and I would console myself saying that Raghunath Das Goswami always assisted Swarup Damodar Goswami, and he didn't directly go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So similarly, I would assure myself that it is okay not to go in front of Maharaj directly, and I would assist the devotees who are serving him. Although now I feel, I should have taken more of his association. But it's okay. And because scriptures say that you should be careful when you're dealing with fire, Guru, and the deities. And that is because, when I'm in front of Maharaj, I become very much cognizant of my own impurities and imperfections. So that was my lacunae in my personality. But I have no regrets. I'm grateful. And I will just, like I told you this incident about Radhanath Swami old bhajan video, right? Similarly, if you see right from beginning of my ashram life, since 1998, I've been here and I'm seeing that all the time. For me, Maharaj's attachment to Maharaj is based on Shravanam, based on hearing his classes and based on hearing about him from other devotees. And that has nourished me so much. Like, I'll give you a simple example. When I joined the temple in the initial days, from two devotees, I heard something about Maharaj which completely transformed me. Like, there's one devotee called Sanat Kumar Prabhu, he's one of the temple presidents. And he told me one incident of Maharaj which made me very attached to Maharaj. And that was, he said, in one of the brahmachari get-togethers, he said, Maharaj, when I joined the temple, now he's talking about his joining the temple, which was in 1988, 87, 89, during that period. He says, Maharaj at that time got malaria. He said that is the first time, and hopefully the last time he ever got malaria. And when Maharaj got malaria, at one point of time, he's got very high fever. And his fever was so high that, sometimes when you have very high fever, you become delirious. You have experienced this. You speak things, incoherently, and you are not aware of what you are saying. That happens to all of us. So, generally when we are delirious, we say things like, we ramble, all incoherent things. But it is interesting, when Maharaj had malaria and very high fever, and he was externally delirious, in that delirious unconscious condition, the only thing that he spoke in detail was all the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan killing the demons. Basically, Maharaj killed all the demons in that delirious state. He narrated Krishna killing Putana, Shakatasur, Trinavarta, Bakasur, Aghasur, everything in detail he's speaking as he is completely delirious. So if this is the conscious, then that time I remember thinking, wow, if this is what his consciousness is when he's unconscious, when he's not aware of his surroundings, what must be there in his heart? So that gave me a glimpse into his heart. This is one incident. The second was when one of my very close friends now, at that time, he was my worshipable senior, and even now he's my worshipable senior. But now he's allowed me to come close to him. That is Anand Vrindavan Prabhu, one of our stalwart devotees in our community. So he told me that now in 98, he's telling me how his life changed in 1988, how he got attached to Guru Maharaj. So he says when he was coming new, there were some rumors about Maharaj going on in the community, and there were some politics happening, and some people didn't want Maharaj to continue here. But Maharaj was always, him very well. He's non-political, non-critical. So somebody spread some rumors about Maharaj. So Anandam Prabhu says, and Anandam Prabhu, those of you know him, he is a very transparent and congruent personality. His inside outside is same. He can never be duplicitous. And so he, being what he is, a candid, authentic person, he just entered into Maharaj's room and confronted Maharaj. He said, Maharaj, this thing's about you. Have you done this? Or are you doing this? And Maharaj, very humbly, no, Prabhu, this is a wrong allegation. I have not done this. Oh, but this devotee told you, this devotee is speaking like this about you. Maharaj said, who? Then he mentioned, Anandam Prabhu mentioned the devotee's name. Maharaj said, wow, he's such a wonderful devotee. And Maharaj glorified that devotee. So Anandam Prabhu was shocked. And then Anandam Prabhu said, Maharaj, there is another devotee. He said like this about you. Maharaj said, then Maharaj appreciated that devotee to Anandam Prabhu. So like this, whoever Anandam Prabhu was quoting, whichever personality Anandam Prabhu was quoting, Maharaj had wonderful things to say about him. And at the same time, he clarified that, I haven't done this. This is wrong. This is not correct. So like this, so Anandam Prabhu says that transformed him, because when he heard or he saw directly that his spiritual master is so much adoshadarshi, he is free from fault finding, that completely transformed his life. And hearing that from Anandam Prabhu also increased my attachment to Maharaj. Of course, along with Anandam Prabhu and Sanat Kumar Prabhu, for me, another very big person who played the most important role in my life was Govind Prabhu, because he was the one who had most access to Maharaj, and he was the best source of Maharaj's pastimes, association. And it was very easy for all of us who joined. We just wanted to please Maharaj. And it was easy because, from what we understood from Govind Prabhu, that, Maharaj will be very happy if you attend morning program, if you attend brahmachari class, and do a little bit of seva in the temple, and don't do politics. As long as you don't do politics, as long as you don't criticize, Maharaj is very happy. I mean, I realized Bhakti is so simple. Bhakti is so amazing. This is what we have to do. So then that's how we got attached to Maharaj. And And one of the qualities of Maharaj which really attracts my heart very much is his ability to see from Krishna's vision. He has this amazing ability, like when we are involved in an issue or when we are solving some problem, we are at the bottom of the ladder of abstraction, in the sense we are focused on that issue. But Maharaj's speciality is when he's addressing an issue or a problem, he is able to see how Krishna would see it. And that doesn't mean he doesn't get involved in the issue. See, he has his ability to, he has his amazing ability to, address the problem on its merit, and at the same time help us have an aerial view towards it from Krishna's point of view. Like, for example, I'll give an example. In 2010 or 11, I remember going to Maharaj with a lot of complaints. And I was involved in management completely at that time. So I told him, Maharaj, these are the problems, and these are very serious problems. And then I told him 1, 2, 3, I think 4 or 5, I listed it. And I said, and you have to intervene and you have to solve this. So then Maharaj heard me. And while explaining that to Maharaj, I happened to say a statement that, Maharaj, when I joined in 1998. Maharaj. And at that time, it was so nice. We used to have morning program. We used to do like this. The Krishna consciousness was so nice in the temple. And now these problems are there and you have to solve it. So then I explained everything. After I finished, and the perspective Maharaj gave was amazing. Maharaj said, do you know something? When Shyamananda Prabhu, Govind Prabhu joined the temple in 1988, there were so many problems here. Do you know that? But Govind Prabhu, Shyamanand Prabhu, Gopinath Prabhu, all of them, they were so blissful in hearing and chanting, and they were very happy. They didn't realize that there are any problems. And 5-6 years later, when they became part of the management, and after some years of being in the management, they came to me and said, Maharaj, when we joined the temple in 1988, it was so nice. And now there are so many problems. And when they were telling me all this, that is the time when Gauranga Prabhu joined the temple. And Gauranga Prabhu was blissfully chanting and dancing. And after a few years, Gauranga Prabhu came and told me that, Maharaj, these are the problems in the temple. And when I joined the temple in 94, life was so good, ashram life was so nice, and Krishna consciousness was so nice. So Maharaj is telling, and then when Gauranga Prabhu was completely involved in management, that is the time you joined. And now you are in management, and you are saying those days were very nice. And now you are complaining. But do you see those brahmacharis? He pointed to some of the younger brahmacharis who are running around. He said, do you see those brahmacharis running there? They are so blissful because they have just joined. And tomorrow when they come into management, they'll come and tell me that, Maharaj, when in 2010, when we joined the temple, it was so nice. Now there are so many problems. So like that, Maharaj was helping us see from Krishna's vision how from 1988, he's seeing the same pattern. He says, as long as you're in a material world, there will always be problems. But it depends on your vision. Depends on what you choose to pick up. The kind of problems you are saying, they are existing, they were always there. And when he explained this in such an amazing way, I could realize how tiny, how insignificant is my understanding. And at the same time, while he was explaining all this, he repeatedly said that we have to address the issue. I'm not saying this issue is not important. So Maharaj was not putting it under the carpet. He was not brushing it aside. He was just helping us appreciate the bigger picture. So that's how I saw that Maharaj is amazing personality. He can see the bigger vision. At the same time, as he's seeing the bigger vision, he's also very down to earth and very practical. Like one of our God brothers, he came to Maharaj, he's a brahmachari, and he's in Dallas now. He said, Maharaj, he's a brahmachari, strong brahmachari. He said, my father is, giving all his property, and he's giving, I'm getting a lot of inheritance. I want to give all of that to you, Maharaj, and you use it in your service to Krishna. So I'm a brahmachari, I've surrendered to Krishna. And Maharaj very coolly told him, you keep it, you will need it. And he was so practical. He was so practical. And then this brahmachari, after some years, he got married. And this inheritance came so handy to help him settle down as a grahastha. And recently, when I was in Dallas, I was talking to him, and we were, revisiting this pastime of Maharaj. And he was saying how it was such a amazing, amazing advice Maharaj had given. So on the Vyasas and Maharaj will say that we should surrender everything to Krishna. And here, this is also surrender to Krishna, keeping money for his future Grahasthashram. Maharaj had this vision. So that's what I'm saying. Maharaj has this amazing Krishna vision. At the same time, he has also the ability to see Krishna, how Krishna can help us in our day-to-day life, how we need to do the practical things in our day-to-day life. Like I remember his ability to instruct. Like when I was first time in our ashram, we had this tradition during those days. We don't have that now. That if you join the ashram, you can't shave your head. I mean, you have to wait till, you're blessed by the seniors. So I had this long hair and I wanted to shave. And my counselor was Gauranga Prabhu. And Gauranga Prabhu would tell me, no, you are very restless. You can't shave your head. And I would say, Prabhuji, I'm already in the ashram for 6 months. I want to shave up and I want to be like a fired up brahmachari, like all the others. He said, no, you are very, you're not still qualified. So then I kept pestering him. So he realized that the best way to get rid of my irritating, bothering him always is, he said, you go and ask Maharaj. If Maharaj allows you, then I don't mind you shaving. So he thought, I'll keep quiet. I won't go to Maharaj. But I was desperate to shave up and join full time. So I directly went to Maharaj's room. I said, Maharaj, I want to shave up and, I want to join, but Gauranga Prabhu is not allowing me. He said, really? And he came out of the room, and right at that moment, Gauranga Prabhu was going somewhere. Maharaj saw him. Maharaj said, Gauranga Prabhu, wait. Maharaj called him near. And Maharaj said, what do you think of the gentleman? Pointing to me, Maharaj asked Gauranga Prabhu. Now, Gauranga Prabhu took a U-turn. Gauranga Prabhu said, he's a wonderful devotee, and he's very fixed up, very nice. So he started appreciating. So then Maharaj said, very good. That means you regard him highly, and he wants to shave up. What do you think? So then Gauranga Prabhu said, yes, Maharaj, I think it's a good thought. He has been here for a long time now. So then Maharaj said, okay, but then you shave him up. So Gauranga Prabhu said, Maharaj, I've never shaved anyone in my life. I can't shave. I don't know how to shave. Maharaj said, okay, today will be the first time. Shave him up. So I said, Maharaj, I don't want him to shave me. I got scared because he's never shaved anyone. He's going to shave me. So then Maharaj started laughing. Maharaj said, no, I insist that you shave him right now. So there are two instructions there. One was that Gauranga Prabhu should shave me. And second, it was right now. There is a common bathroom in the ground floor. He said, you go there right now. That is the third instruction. You have to shave him here in the ground floor. Ground floor bathroom right now. And Gauranga Prabhu should shave. So I was like, okay. But then I was a little nervous. And Gauranga Prabhu, when we went down, he was shaving me and he was wondering, why did Maharaj say that? Maharaj never tells anyone to shave others. But as we were shaving, we realized what a genius Maharaj is. Because Maharaj was supposed to meet one man who was a donor who was coming to temple every Wednesday. And he was giving donations for Gauranga Prabhu's Wednesday evening class, where a lot of khichdi and halwa was distributed to everyone. And he was a great fan of Gauranga Prabhu. And he was a good donor. And he loved Maharaj. But whenever he would meet Maharaj, he would always tell Maharaj how, actual bhakti can be understood only by those who are born in Brahmana families. He was a typical Indian caste-conscious Brahmana who thinks that Brahmins are great blessings on earth. That was his mood. So Maharaj was so amazing, brilliant. He would speak to him, he would listen to him, but not offend him because, he would feel he will not like it if Maharaj smashes him, that birth is not the criteria and all of that. So Maharaj would listen to him. But today was, what a timing. Maharaj caught his hand and brought him down to the common bathroom, where in that common place, Gauranga Prabhu was shaving me. And in India, those of you know, a Brahmana is never supposed to shave. This is considered a very low-class activity. This is done by the lower caste people. Those who are caste-conscious people, they think like this. I remember once we were in Nasik Yatra with Maharaj and, we were shaving each other, the brahmacharis. All the local barbers there on the bank of Godavari, they were hurling abuses at us. saying that what kind of sadhus you are, that you are shaving each other, you are doing such a low activity. So it is considered that Brahmana should not do it. So this man was a pakka Brahmana conscious man, and Maharaj would hear all his ramble all the time. But today he brought him down to the common bathroom and said, Prabhu, see what your glorious Brahmana Gauranga Prabhu is doing. And he pointed to Gauranga Prabhu and he said, Gauranga Prabhu is such a South Indian Brahmin. See, he's shaving another South Indian Brahmin. And this man, I saw his face. His lower jaw dropped and he was just gaping at us in utter shock. So Maharaj humbled him, instructed him, did not hurt his ego at the same time. And at the same time, after that day, he never spoke about Brahmanical pride to Maharaj. So what a brilliant teacher Maharaj is. He knows how to get everything, he knows how to make everything work. So like this, this is my early impressions of Maharaj. He's a genius. He's absorbed in Krishna, very practical. Like I remember, I used to see Krishna Chandra Prabhu and Srinaji Prabhu, two very big industrialists in India. And they are part of our community and they were the main leaders of the community. And I would always look at them and I had heard about them even before I came to Krishna consciousness. Because I was studying finance, I was knowing about the Indian financial markets and I was aware of the business world. And here I come and I see these two people in dhoti kurta dancing in Kirtan. And not only that, I see Krishna Chandra Prabhu dancing in Kirtan with his own driver. I was like, wow. And then I see that if these two people are such big industrialists and they are servants of Maharaj, then that means this personality must be really, really genius. He must be really spiritually very advanced. So that's how I was very impressed by Maharaj. And one thing that was constantly nourishing me was Shravanam, hearing his classes. If you see in Maharaj's classes, there is a lot of not only profound wisdom coming out, but we will see that there is a lot of warmth and affection that flows for everyone. He is very sensitive to the community need. In Kumbh Mela, we were in the preaching tent. This is the year 2000, January. So Maharaj is in the preaching tent and different people would come to the tent and Maharaj would preach to them. Some of them would challenge, some of them would inquire sincerely. I remember one very sophisticated IAS officer, very suave and very charming personality. He entered the camp, the tent, and he was asking very deep questions to Maharaj. And he was a very articulate person. He explained those questions in such an amazing way about deep technical things. And Maharaj was answering aplomb, his perfect answers he was giving. At one point of time in the conversation, this man, he just looked at Maharaj and said, you are a Swami. And I can clearly see that you're an American, you're a Christian, you're from that background. You could have got love of God by being where you are. You didn't have to change your religion to Hinduism. You didn't have to become a Hare Krishna. How do you explain this? So then Maharaj, he said, no, I was not a Christian. I was born as a Jew. So then he said, that's the same thing. Basically, you had your own tradition. You could have perfected your life by following your own tradition. Or do you think there is different religions teach different things? So Maharaj immediately said, no, God is one. And all bona fide religions are teaching us love of God. So he said, yeah, that's precisely what I'm saying. If all paths are same, if all religions are teaching us love of God, then you could have attained love of God by going back to your religion. So even if you say that, Hare Krishna movement is the one that taught you how to love God, you can go back to your religion and perfect your life in what your parents gave you. So like that, he was twisting. And Maharaj, I was wondering why Maharaj is not directly answering him. Maharaj was just, speaking about how all paths are good and all that. I was like, why is Maharaj not giving a more emphatic answer? Because this man kept arguing back. But one sentence Maharaj said at one point, at one particular point of time, this man became completely quiet. He couldn't argue any further. Because as he was retorting to the same line, that why did you change? Why did you change from your Jewish tradition to Hinduism? Why did you change? Then Maharaj, very humbly, then I realized Maharaj was trying to avoid telling this to him. But because he confronted so much, Maharaj had to reveal his heart. So with his head lowered, very humbly, Maharaj said, I took up to Krishna consciousness and I joined ISKCON because, to be honest, I know that all paths are same, but Krishna attracted my heart like nothing else and nobody else. And the way he said it with such genuineness that I could see that he's really attracted to Krishna. And therefore, you see, Maharaj, because he's attracted to Krishna so much, he is always Vrindavan conscious. He is very particular. He will never allow me to, when we tell him, we have a small Vrindavan forest near our temple, below our temple. It's a small place. And sometimes, some people would say, Maharaj, that Vrindavan garden, can we go there? Maharaj would say, it's not Vrindavan garden. It is Vrindavan forest. I mean, it's such a small thing, but he would never allow the word garden as a suffix for Vrindavan. He would say it's Vrindavan forest. It's where Krishna, because generally in India, garden is a place where we go to enjoy. Like in Mysore, there is a very famous Vrindavan garden. So Maharaj's choice of words, which reveals his deep understanding. So he would always say this is Vrindavan forest. He never allowed us to say it's Vrindavan garden. And I remember once one Brajavasi came and Maharaj was showing him around in the temple, and we came to the Lakshmi Narayan garden, and there Maharaj saw that Brajavasi saw the Kadamba tree, and he said, this Kadamba is not from Vrindavan. This seems to be from somewhere else. So Maharaj said, yes, he told that Brajavasi, he told, yes, Babaji, this actually, I was thinking I should not be so arrogant and audacious to get a Kadamba plant from Vrindavan. We are not qualified. So I brought this from Bengal. So this is a Bengal Kadamba. So because we didn't want to take it away from Vrindavan. So then that Brajavasi started crying. He said, Are Baba. He looked at Maharaj and he called Maharaj. He was an elderly Brajavasi. He held Maharaj's hand and he said, Baba, this place is... Maharaj had told him one sentence. Maharaj said, I thought we should not get the Kadamba plant from Vrindavan to Bombay. That's why we took it from Bengal. So then Babaji immediately held Maharaj's hand and said, Oh Baba, this is not Bombay, this is Vrindavan. Wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. The way he said it, I was like, he's a Brajavasi, he was speaking in Hindi and I was translating. So Maharaj is speaking in English, but the communication of their heart, it was such amazing that this Brajavasi knew fully well that Maharaj is a Brajavasi. It takes one to know one. So he got this certificate from the Brajavasi that Maharaj is Vrindavan. Maharaj's heart is Vrindavan. And I've seen this. Those who love Krishna, those who love Vrindavan, they're always with Krishna. For them, the external world, the razzle-dazzle, the glamour, those things don't affect. Like, for example, if you are giving a class, many of you, I can see you are preachers here. If you are to speak a class, and you may speak in a class, the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and that milk-drinking Brahmana pastime, you may be knowing from Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a pastime where Chaitanya Bhagavat, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu scolded that milk-drinking Brahman who wanted to see Mahaprabhu's dance. This is a very famous pastime. So we all have heard it or spoken it at least once in our classes. Now, if I had to give a class, I would speak that pastime. And if next Sunday I have to give a class, then I will not speak that same pastime to the same audience. I will speak something else. And even if I have to speak the same pastime, I'll give a different purport. Or maybe I'll give an acronym, the milk-drinking Brahman pastime. Milk, M stands for this. Something new. You will give a new flavor to the same pastime if you have to speak it again and again. But I observed when I was hearing Maharaj's classes, you'll see that in the year 2009 or 2010, if you go to radhanathswamimedia.com, on the left side of your screen, you will see that there's a list of topics, yatra and all of that. And there is an year-wise category. If you click there, you'll get all lectures of Maharaj from 1988 till 2022. All years will be there. And then you go to 2009 or 2010, one of those years, you will find Maharaj in those maybe 150, 200 lectures he has given that particular year. You will find in Mumbai, that Mumbai lectures, you will find at least 10 lectures he has given on the where he's speaking in detail about the milk drinking pastime. I mean, I was like shocked. He spoke this 2 weeks ago. And again, Maharaj is speaking in the same, it's not that he's doing a shortcut. He's narrating it in great detail. with this new flavor, with this spontaneous flavor. And I'm like, that this person must be really relishing this pastime. He must have entered that space of that pastime in his consciousness. And because he's in that consciousness, he is able to speak about it as if he's speaking about it for the first time. You know what I'm saying? It's like only if you're relishing something, you can speak about the same thing again and again. Because we generally approach Krishna's pastimes at the head level. Maharaj approaches the pastimes at the heart level. So when we are at the head level, we will not speak the same thing again. We will speak something else, which is fair enough. We have to give some knowledge or whatever. We have to share the studies that we are doing. But because he is a pure devotee of Krishna, relishing Krishna's pastimes, he's speaking like this. Like there's another instance I saw, which confirms this, not just the 2009 milk drinking Brahman pastime series. There's another incident I saw. This was in the year 1999 or 2000, when Jananivas Prabhu, all of you know his grave, Jananivas Prabhu from Mayapur Dham. He was in Chowpat, and that time we didn't have Bhaktivedanta hospital. So I remember very well, Jananivas Prabhu fell sick, and we had a small room next to Maharaj's room where he was taking rest and recuperating, and he had malaria or some high fever. But then we didn't have hospital, so we took him to one nursing home near our temple, which was, I think, 2 kilometers from our temple, and he was recuperating there, and he had this IV put on him, and he was getting cured. So as Jananivas Prabhu was getting all right in the hospital, the temple, we had Nityanand Trayodasi festival. So Maharaj gave a long 3-4 hour class in the evening, Nityanand Trayodasi festival. And after the class, Maharaj asked me, because I was in the guest reception, I was taking care of Jananivas Prabhu. He said, how is Jananivas Prabhu doing? I said, Maharaj, he's recovered, but he's still very weak. So Maharaj said, okay, let us go tomorrow morning and visit him. So I said, yes, Maharaj. So morning, we went to the nursing home. And when Maharaj entered, Haribolanand Prabhu, one of my god brothers, he was the one who was right there serving Maharaj and Jananivas Prabhu. So then Maharaj came close to his bed. Jananivas Prabhu was lying on the bed, his hand on the bead bag, very frail and very weak. And Jananivas Prabhu asked him, so Maharaj, what did you speak yesterday in the class? So they are speaking about the festival, Nityananda Trayodasi festival. And then Maharaj said, I spoke on Lord Nityananda. But then Jananivas Prabhu said, what did you speak? Well, I was thinking, if somebody asks, if I had given a 3-hour class on Nityananda Trayodasi the previous day, and if next morning somebody asks me, what did you speak? Now, if I speak a 3-hour class and then next day somebody asks me, Prabhu, what did you speak yesterday in the class? I would say I spoke Nityananda Prabhu's appearance. I spoke about his Jagai Madai pastime. I spoke about his traveling party. I would have given 5-6 points. But when Jananivas Prabhu asked Maharaj, what did you speak yesterday evening in the Nityananda Trayodasi festival? Haribolanand Prabhu and I, we were shocked to see what Maharaj did. Maharaj said, you want to hear? And Jananivas Prabhu said, yes. He nodded his head like this. And then Maharaj sat on his bed. Maharaj was standing next to his bed. Maharaj sat on his bed in like this, in this asana which we sit, Sukhasan, when we give Bhagavatam class. Like that, Maharaj sat in the class. He sat on the bed. And then, you know what Maharaj did? Maharaj put his hand like this and said, Om Ajnana Timirandasya. And I was like, what is happening? This was as if, this was exactly how he was doing it the previous evening in the temple hall where there were 1,500 devotees packed into the temple hall. And how we began the class the previous evening. The same way is giving class now to one person, Jananivas Prabhu, is lying down in front of him. And then Maharaj began the class. After the Hare Krishna, the chanting happened, Mangalacharan happened, and then Maharaj spoke as it is the same class for the next 3 hours, the same way that he spoke the previous evening to Jananivas Prabhu, the temple hall. The same thing he spoke to Jananivas Prabhu. How do you explain this? And not only that, as you're speaking, he was into it. And then at one point of time, Maharaj said, and there were these 2 dacoits. Their names were Jagai and Madai. And as Maharaj was saying this, I was like, we all know the Jagai Madai pastime. And, Jananivas Prabhu must have heard it thousands of times. Maharaj must have spoken it hundreds of times. I mean, It's something you have already heard it and spoken it so many times. And here you are with your god brother. You could have just told him that this is what you spoke. But Maharaj is narrating the whole thing with the same energy, with the same enthusiasm, like he did the previous evening to 1,500 congregation. So this shows for Maharaj, what this reveals is, for him, Krishna Katha is not a formality. It is not an obligation. It is not a ritual. It is not a duty. It is not a preaching program that has to be done. It is what nourishes him. And it is his, and that's why he's able to speak like that. That's why he's able to be like that, you know. And I've seen a few instances when I only had once a chance of being Maharaj's personal servant. This was in 2003 for 3 days when Maharaj had come back from America and all the devotees had gone back on to Mayapur Yatra. Maharaj had to go because his mother had passed away. So then he had to come back for the Mayapur Yatra. So he came back to Mumbai for 2-3 days. So in those 3 days, there were no devotees in temple, only 5-6 of us. So I had the chance to be his personal servant. And I remember one of those days, Maharaj at 8 o'clock in the morning, he said, I said, Maharaj, will you take breakfast now? Maharaj, 7:30. He said, yes, around 8 o'clock, you can get it. So at 8 o'clock, I went to give breakfast. I saw Maharaj's room is locked from inside. And I said, what to do now? You know, should I knock again? Should I open it? Should I wait? I was in two minds. And as I was thinking like that, my eyes fell on the keyhole. And I just saw from the keyhole directly Maharaj's room. And Maharaj is sitting in his mat with a harmonium and very softly is doing kirtan. So then I thought, okay, Maharaj is doing kirtan. I'll come back later and give him prasad. So after half an hour I went. Again, I saw through the keyhole, Maharaj is doing kirtan. Every half an hour I went, he was only doing kirtan. And around 1:32, he stopped the kirtan and opened the door. So I was like, wow, 5.5 hours alone doing kirtan. It was like, for me, then, and then, of course, I couldn't give him breakfast. Then I served him lunch. But I could understand that, how for us, 16 rounds is an obligation. It's a duty. It's a tick thing. I have to get it done. I remember once Maharaj had forgotten his bead bag somewhere. And then he told me, can you find the bead bag for me? So I found the bead bag. No, I kept looking for the bead bag. And then I found it. And I came running to give to Maharaj. And Maharaj did not know that I'm standing behind him. Maharaj had entered his room. Maharaj thought he's alone. And I was right behind him with the bead bag. I was supposed to keep it on the table and leave. But as I was about to keep the bead bag, and Maharaj, not knowing that somebody is behind me, Maharaj put his hand, up like this, very gracefully. He was dancing like in Barsana, this devotees dance. Jai Shri Radhe. Maharaj was singing Radharani's bhajan. And he was dancing in that typical Barsana of the Mataji's dance, the Gopis dance. He was dancing like that. And then as he turned, he saw me. And as soon as he saw me, immediately he became, Hare Krishna. And the way he switched, some rascal has come. So Maharaj has to be, Maharaj has to be formal. But he was in his elements. So I could see, that's why, Maharaj has mentioned this also once, that many times he does Mansik Govardhan Parikrama in his room. He just goes through the entire Giriraj Parikrama. So this is Maharaj's Krishna consciousness. This is his mood. And therefore, we are very fortunate we are connected to such a personality. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in on bhajan, Doya kori more patita dekhiya, kohilo hamare giya. Oye dina jana shuno bhalo kotha ullasita habehiya. He says, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling Lord Chaitanya in that bhajan that your personal associate has come as my guru and he felt pity on me. Doya kori more patita de. He saw that I am fallen. Therefore, he kept telling me one thing again and again. Kahilu hamare giya. What did he tell me? Oye dina jana, you fallen soul. Shuno bhalo katha, always hear Krishna katha. And he kept giving me Krishna katha. Ullasito habeya. Then your heart will be enlightened. Then you will be happy. So this is what Maharaj is doing as a representative of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as a representative of the Parampara, Prabhupada. He is giving us Krishna pure Shuddha Ghee ka Mal, unadulterated, without compromising. And that's why you will see most of the devotees who joined in the initial days who are connected to Maharaj. And even now, the devotees who are getting fixed up and who are attached to Maharaj, they're attached to Maharaj's Vani, you know. And he knows that this is the shelter. And he's always focusing on the principle of shelter. Our devotees getting shelter. I remember just a few years back, 5 years ago, Maharaj took interview of all different brahmacharis because there were some issues. So Maharaj had to get involved. So Maharaj said, if I have to get involved, let me go to the root of the issue. So Maharaj interviewed more than 55 brahmacharis. Each one of them he spent more than an hour. And with some of them he spent more than 2 hours. So you can imagine he spent like, I think, 80 hours interviewing different devotees, brahmacharis. And he would sit humbly with a notebook and pen and try to understand our issues and our point of view. And he had to collate all of that. And, you know, he did all of that alone. And when all the research he did, and then he had to change the system. And then after all these 80 plus hours of interview and all the points, so then he had to present it to the ashram and he had to make some system changes. He made those changes. He made a new system, and then he made a leadership council. And then while presenting it, now all these so many hours of research, he summarized it in one sentence. Because the whole idea was, what is the need of the ashram? What does the ashram actually need now? That one thing, he summed it up in one word. Can you imagine that one word? He said, the essence of everything that people have spoken to me is one thing everybody needs, and that is they want shelter. They want to feel sheltered and they want to feel safe. So his ability to grasp and understand the deeper issue is amazing. And you know, that's why he never gets impressed by anything external you say. You can't impress him with, you know, saying that, you know, I'm doing so much preaching, I've done so many. He goes for the essence. Is this person feeling sheltered? Is this person connected to Krishna? Like I remember when we joined the ashram, Gaurang Prabhu took all of us to meet Maharaj in his room. And we were all sitting in a semicircle. Some 7 or 8 of us had joined. And Maharaj asked us, so what services are you doing? So I said, I'm doing book distribution. Somebody said something. And one of the brahmacharis, one of us who joined, was very, you know, new and very enthusiastic to tell Maharaj, because he was cleaning toilets every day. It's a menial seva. So he thought Maharaj loves menial seva. Maharaj will be very happy to know that, you know, I'm doing this seva. So with great joy, you know, he put his head like this, Maharaj. And when his turn came to speak, he said, Maharaj, I clean the toilets every day, morning and evening. I clean all the toilets in the first floor and in the ground floor. And it was great joy thinking that Maharaj will be very happy to hear that. And after he finished, Maharaj nodded his head. And Maharaj said, one can become extremely proud of cleaning toilets also. That was, for me, that was, I just freaked out by, but wow, I had never heard something like that. So, you know, these are some initial memories which leave a deep impression in our heart. So like that. So basically that's what I'm saying. He doesn't get impressed by externals. That's why he focuses on substance. Like so many times there are occasions when, you know, Maharaj could have changed the temple president board. You know, there is Shamanand Prabhu, Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Govind Prabhu, Sanat Kumar Prabhu. Now Gaurang Prabhu also is part of that. But for a long time, he didn't change the body. Just the 4 of them. In fact, it has not changed at all. Only Gaurang Prabhu has been added. But these 5 have remained since 95, I think. 1995, they are the same body. You know, I remember once confronting Maharaj and saying, Maharaj, you should change this board. You know, Maharaj said a very simple thing. The whole community loves them. They are the ones who are holding the community together. And Maharaj's logic was very simple. Maharaj said, you know, they may not be expert managers. Everybody may not be a great manager. Everybody may not have all the skills. But devotees want to see sadhutva. They want to feel inspired. They're not looking for, you know, simply hardcore managers who are efficient. They're not looking for efficiency. They are looking for effectiveness, how effective you are. And I remember once Radha Gopinath Prabhu, is a senior, resigned as a temple president. Because I was the secretary of the management board, he CC'd it to me and he sent it to Maharaj. So I was like, wow, he's resigned. And then Maharaj gave next day Bhagavatam class and Maharaj spoke, looking at him many points. And then Maharaj took him aside, spoke to him for a long time, and then convinced him to remain the temple president. And then I was asking him, how did Maharaj convince you? He said, Maharaj said a simple thing. Maharaj said, you are resigning because you think you are not manager, you are not good. But please trust me, you are very good because devotees love you. And we need inspiration. We don't need great managers. And then in that one meeting, Maharaj was saying that all of you, the biggest quality the you four temple presidents have is because you don't do politics, you don't criticize others publicly, you're always together. So Maharaj, his biggest allergy is to this fault finding and criticism. This, whenever he sees this, he becomes very uncomfortable. So the qualification, he said, of the temple president in our temple is not that he's a great manager, but because these people, these four of them, they don't do politics, they're always together. And I was saying it, and he said, all of you, four of you, come out together in the public as one voice. And it is very nice. And then as Maharaj was saying that, I think Radha Gopinath Prabhu had put his hand on Shyamanand Prabhu's shoulder like this, that you have camaraderie and you have trust with each other. So I was really impressed by this, because we come from an outside world where we work hard and we have certain ideas about how things should happen, but the laws governing a spiritual organization are different. This is what I learned from Maharaj, the way he dealt with our temple president board. Because I have seen, Maharaj, like in a satsang program, when I joined the temple, I would see Maharaj in the middle of the talk, he would say, I request Shyamananda Prabhu to come, and Maharaj would make him come and sit next to him and give class. And sometimes in the middle of the Bhagavatam class, Maharaj had to leave. After Radha Madhav, Maharaj would say, now the class will be given by, Maharaj would look at Shyamananda Prabhu and say, come. And Shyamananda Prabhu would get up and Maharaj would make him sit on the Vyasasana and Maharaj would leave. And I was like, wow, that is the kind of trust Maharaj had placed on him in Radha Gopinath Prabhu and Govind Prabhu. So I've seen all this, Sanat Kumar Prabhu. So therefore, I connect with Maharaj more by hearing about Maharaj from my godbrothers, my senior godbrothers. And also, at the same time, he's very practical and down to earth. Like in the Pune Yatra, which we used to have long kirtans, long classes from morning 4 a.m. till night 10:30, 11, there would be absorption in Krishna Katha and Kirtan. So naturally, in the morning japa time, when we are sitting like this, we all would be sleeping. We would fall sleepy and we would try to remain awake. And Maharaj would sit straight and you would see all the devotees struggling to remain awake. And one of his godbrothers would also come from Pune Yatra, sitting next to Maharaj, and he was also struggling to remain awake. And I was sitting right behind Maharaj because I was personal servant of that Maharaj, that other sannyasi was a guest. So, and it was a little embarrassing, if he sleeps, then all of us are anyway feeling sleepy. And to remain awake, we are looking at both of them and chanting our rounds. And both of them are also, Maharaj was straight. And this sannyasi was like, after every few minutes, he was going down like this. So then I was shocked. I was shocked at their friendship. Maharaj put his hand on his hand and woke him up a few times. That was okay. But when he repeatedly fell like this down, you know what Maharaj did? Maharaj went close to his ear and loudly shouted, "Oh Muchukundaya Namaha." When he said, "Oh Muchukundaya Namaha," not only he woke up, everybody woke up and everybody laughed. So then it was in a good humor, So Maharaj has this ability to be intense bhakti at the same time, make it light, make it happy experience. Like I remember one class, because I connect with Maharaj more through his classes than personal association. In one of the recent classes I was hearing, Maharaj was speaking about how Guru is a cloud and Krishna is the ocean. So we know this Samsara Dava with Singh, right? So Maharaj was giving the analogy that the cloud takes water from the ocean and gives it to the people. Similarly, Guru takes shower of mercy from Krishna. And then Maharaj made an interesting point. Maharaj said that there is a forest fire, and this burning forest fire can be extinguished when there is rain shower. And this rain shower is coming from the cloud, but the cloud is getting it from the ocean. Unfortunately, Maharaj said, this fire, Guru's job, he said, the Guru's job is, he wants us to take us out of this forest fire, or he wants to extinguish the forest fire. But our problem is, when we go to Guru, we are expecting the Guru to make this forest fire very cooling. That was such a statement. I just kept, it hit me so hard. This is a very profound statement. Many times we are in material world. We want to make our material life better. But Guru has not come for that. Guru has come to teach us how this material world is not a good place and we have to go back to Krishna. At the same time, as I told you, he is not insensitive to our struggle. He understands. But he knows that we need to go further. Like, for example, initial days, Maharaj would embrace all of us brahmacharis, would pat. I remember the first time I shaved my head, at least for the next 2 days, at least 10 times he must have rubbed my head. Oh, you have shaved your head. I mean, what's the big deal here? You've shaven your head. You've not done a great favor to anybody. But Maharaj would say, oh, you're dedicating your life to Prabhupada's mission. And he would. So now I look back and I realize why Maharaj did that. Because Maharaj knew that we were very sentimental and emotional people. So he knew that if he gives us love, we will chant Hare Krishna. Ultimately, he wants us to love Krishna. And I was a fool. I thought if I chant Hare Krishna, I will get his love. I mean, you see the conflict of expectations that can happen here. He is giving me love so that I connect to Krishna, and I connect to Krishna so that I can get his love, not realizing that he's actually come to give me Krishna. That's after some years, some of us, we get upset with our spiritual master because the spiritual master is no longer coming to my house, is no longer giving names to my children, is not attending the marriages of my grandchildren. I mean, Guru has not come to attend our children's marriages or give names to our children. He has come to give us Krishna. And he's giving Krishna through his katha, through his vani. And that's how we make our lives perfect. And that's how we connect to the parampara and we go back to Krishna. So therefore, I don't know if you heard, there is a very powerful but controversial Vyas Puja offering of Srila Prabhupada to his Guru Maharaj. It's there in the Lilamrut. If you see, Srila Prabhupada makes a very heavy offering about how, he says, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, glorifying him, he says, offering flowers to Guru is very good. Offering praise to Guru is very good. But are we following our Gurudev's instructions? Like that, Abhay Charan De, Abhay Babu is making this offering in front of his god brother, and it creates a big controversy and it becomes very intense. In the 1950s, I think he does this. So actually, Srila Prabhupada, so the point I'm making is, in the first meeting which Srila Prabhupada had with Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, he was shaken from his slumber. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur spoke heavy, spoke very strong. So similarly, this is the mood of a Guru. Guru means heavy. And the worship we give him, the praise we give him, the flowers we offer him, he offers it as to Krishna. He's like a viceroy. Prabhupada gave the example of the viceroy, the British time, who would collect all the offerings and give it to the king or the queen. Similarly, we take from, we see that Maharaj accepts all this. But what is more important, what is more pleasing to Guru is when we follow his instructions and when we connect with him at that deeper level. Because otherwise, material energy will bewilder us. I remember one of my godbrothers, he was going through a lot of sickness. And I was sitting with him and I said, what will you do when you're 80, 85, Prabhu? You need to plan. And suddenly he said one statement from Maharaj lecture, and it just completely changed my paradigm. He said, Prabhu, Maharaj says that if you always keep planning for future, everything, see, we have to plan for future. But there are certain areas we can't do anything about. He said, if you're constantly thinking of planning, you become a control freak. We also need to know, Maharaj said, it's very good to think every day how I can please Krishna today. So then Maharaj said, if you always keep thinking, today, how can I please Krishna? Today, how can I please Krishna? If this is my mood every day, then Maharaj says that you will see a wonderful miracle happen. You will see Krishna performs a great miracle in your life and he takes charge. Unfortunately, we are in the other extreme. Every day we think how I can make my life better, how I can do what I want to do. So as we are doing that, we also need to spend some time in Krishna's space, wanting to please Krishna. So these are my few thoughts on Maharaj's appearance. There's more we can talk, but I would like to pause here. And maybe if somebody has comments or questions, we could take. But I want to sincerely thank again Vraja Prabhu for inviting me to share these pastimes of Maharaj. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
So once again, my sincere gratitude to all of you for joining in. I think it's night there in US for all of you. And Rajaraman Prabhu, thank you for making it very special. Maharaj's appearance day according to Tithi. And you allowed me to go back memory lane and remember all the initial days. Thank you very much, Prabhu.